Pantheon AI presents USA versus China, the energy race. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's often talked about but rarely unpacked, the global energy race, specifically between the US and China.
And it's more than just a race, isn't it? It's about global influence, economic power, and frankly, our future energy security.
Absolutely. When you look at the raw numbers, it's pretty eye-opening. As of 2024, China is just crushing it in electricity production.
They really are. We're talking something like 8.5 petawatt hours annually. To put that in perspective, the US is producing around 3.99 petawatt hours. That's a massive gap.
Almost double, actually. More than double. So how are they doing it? What's China's energy mix look like?
Well, historically, they've been super reliant on coal. In 2021, coal made up a staggering 62% of their electricity generation, which, has its own environmental implications.
Right. But I've also heard they're making huge strides in renewables.
Exactly. That's the interesting part. While coal's still dominant, renewables contributed almost 30% to 29.4% to be exact, to their electricity generation in 2021. They're investing heavily in that space.
That's a pretty aggressive shift. So let's pivot to the US. How does our energy mix compare to that?
Our mix is quite different. In 2021, we were looking at 38% natural gas, 23% coal, so less than China, 20% nuclear, and 21% renewables. So, a bit more diversified, you could say.
Interesting. And I remember seeing something about the US actually being more carbon efficient in some sectors, even with lower overall production.
Yeah, that's a key point. Our industrial sector, for instance, has actually reduced its primary energy demand by 19% between 2000 and 2022. It's a testament to energy efficiency improvements. We're getting more out of less, in some ways.
So, given China's lead in our current position, what's the game plan for the US to not just catch up, but really enhance our energy production and reduce fossil fuel reliance?
Good question. I think there are a few key strategies. First, and this is probably obvious, accelerate renewable energy deployment. Wind, solar, hydro. We've got so much potential there. Wind, for example, was only 10.54% of our electricity generation in 2024. Huge room for growth.
Absolutely. And it's not just about adding more, but making sure it's integrated effectively.
Precisely. Which leads to the fourth point, investing in energy storage and grid modernization. We need advanced solutions and a smarter grid to handle all that intermittent renewable energy.
That makes total sense. What else?
Well, nuclear energy is a big one. It's a stable, low-carbon source. There's a push to modernize that infrastructure. Some recent executive orders, for example, are aiming to quadruple U.S. nuclear capacity by 2050.
Quadruple? That's ambitious. I know there's been a lot of talk about fast-tracking new reactors and streamlining regulatory processes.
Exactly. It's a clear signal that nuclear is back on the table, at least from a policy perspective. And then, finally, just enhancing energy efficiency across the board. If we reduce overall demand, we improve our carbon efficiency even further.
So it's a multi-pronged approach. Renewables, nuclear, efficiency, and grid upgrades. It really highlights how complex this energy transition is.
It absolutely is, and the stakes are incredibly high, aren't they? It's not just about who produces more, but how sustainably and securely that energy is produced.
Right. Energy independence, climate goals, economic competitiveness, it all ties together.
Exactly. By adopting these strategies, the U.S. could really solidify a more sustainable and resilient energy future. It's a long road, but the roadmap seems pretty clear.
Fascinating stuff. Thanks for breaking that down for us, Host B.
My pleasure, Host A. Pantheon AI, your information co-pilot.
Because learning shouldn't feel like a full-time job. Take care and see you next time.